Not podcast.
Yeah, welcome to our Not Podcast, Elevators and Stairs. We still waiting on some more votes.
It's done.
The elevators and
It's
stairs.
elevators and stairs, because somebody made a very good point in the last video. They said
Talking about the escalators.
Escalators. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
We're going to do elevators and stairs. Welcome to the second episode. Glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get to some more questions.
No, remember we said we were going to do the thing in the beginning.
What?
The thing, Justin.
Yeah, okay. What was
First
the
of all,
question?
my name... Let's run it back. We didn't do what we said we was going to do.
What we going to do?
So, welcome to our Not Podcast. Welcome back to our Not Podcast, Elevators and Stairs.
I'm Justin.
All right. You don't have a last name?
Yeah, I'm Nazir Muhammad.
There you go. Anissa Nazir Muhammad. And then we said we was going to do the thing. To what we learned this week.
Okay, what's the question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's the question. Justin.
Ask the question. What's the question? What? You got your hand up like this for what?
I have
What's
to
the
ask
question?
it.
Go ahead and ask it.
I thought we were just going to glide into it. I'm supposed to ask you, what have you learned? Okay, I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
Is that from the baby?
Maybe from Shea Butter. I don't know these days. You never know.
We've been getting shat on a lot.
What did you learn?
What have you learned this week?
So we're going to do, in the beginning of the episode, we're going to ask a question. What have you learned this week as it pertains to the family? So how does it benefit the family?
Right.
So what have I learned? After getting shitted on that night, I definitely learned patience.
Yeah. That was a rough night. It's freaking hot in America.
Yeah, it's a little toasty up there, but definitely learned to be patient with not only myself but the baby, because he doesn't understand what
he's doing. Yeah.
For a moment, I caught myself like I wanted to swing for a minute, because it was like, damn, you really just defecated on me like that. Like, I don't even understand.
It was so much.
It was like almost it wasn't even almost. It was disrespectful.
It was.
Like, it was like, yo, you shitted on me. Like, it wasn't even like a regular shit. It was like almost he threw the shit at me. Like, yeah, I'm waiting on this. Like, as soon as you take this diaper off, bro, like, I'm about to
at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Like, as soon as I lifted the flap down, it was like, pow, pow. And I was like, dang, oh. It's like I got shot with shit. I was like, dang. And it's 3 a.m, like, I'm half asleep. I'm like, yo, what's going on right now? I just got done working.
You look so befuzzled.
I just got done working. Like, it came in at like 12:30, 1 o'clock. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, it was a crazy time.
Yeah.
But in that moment, you know, I was just angry. But, you know, after sleeping on it, I was like, you know what? I have to be more patient in that and understanding. You know, he doesn't know what he's doing. And at the same time, he really don't care.
Right.
It's not doing anything to him. You know, he's just letting loose on the poop.
Right.
So,
he had to poop, so he
had to poop, so he pooped. He don't understand what's going on. So I'm like, okay, you know what? In those moments, I have to learn to, just accept the moment, man.
Yeah.
I just got shitted on. Hey, let's just move past it.
Yeah.
We tired. We both tired. We both was angry,
I was
trying to figure it out. She was pumping. She was tired. She was exhausted. I was exhausted. But in that moment, we got angry at each other. It was like, oh, what you doing? I'm like,
I didn't get angry at you. I did not get angry at you. You got angry at me.
I didn't get angry because you were like, oh, you gonna clean it. I said, I just need to lay down. I
You talking about afterwards?
Yeah, I'm talking about
because he didn't clean up the poop. He was
on my side of the bed. I said, you know what? I'm tired. I just want to go back to sleep.
He slept
I'm
on
going to
the
sleep
couch.
on the couch. I'm just gonna leave that right there. It's not on your side of the bed. It was literally all on my side.
I'm just
gonna leave it there.
That means I can't roll over. God forbid I roll over. And then I said,
don't
Justin,
be rolling over like that. You don't need to be moving like that.
And then I said, Justin, it's on the comforter as well, like our actual cover. It's on that too. Just stay in one spot. Who is in charge of that?
Just stay.
What if I just want to turn and I bring the cover over? God forbid I turn back. Boom, I'm gonna poop. I'm like,
you don't even be moving like that, Justin, in your sleep
because you're on the side of me.
You don't be moving like that.
And
like,
then
if
when
it was me, I can understand because I'd be moving.
Mind you, I still had the baby. So guess what? When I have him, and what do I do when I'm feeding and stuff? I be bringing all the covers around. The covers be moving.
You don't be doing all that at night.
Oh my God.
You don't be doing that.
Yes, I do. But I'm glad you learned patience.
Whatever. Patience.
For this week.
Patience is key, man. Just be patient. Just understand that, you know, they don't understand the situation that's going on. So, just be in the moment, man. You just got shit on. Hey, take that L.
Yeah.
Move past it.
Yeah. It's a lesson on life.
It is.
Sometimes you're just gonna get shat on.
That's okay.
And you got to move on.
Lift your hands up. Hey. Keep it moving.
Keep moving.
What you learn?
I learned something yesterday. Because my husband asked me questions that I don't understand sometimes. Like, either where the question is coming from or why said question would be asked. Because in my mind, it's like, just think over it a little bit more than you would have your answer. But he'll ask a question and then my response would show what I'm thinking. And then it'll be all over my face. And then last night, you was like, you said it twice. Because I did it twice last night. And he was like, why you got an attitude? Why are you talking to me like that? And I was like, you know what, you're right. I apologize. And you said it makes me not want to ask you no questions no more. So I learned to, when he asks a question, just answer the question. Instead of like doing all the facial expressions and all the stuff that shows what's the word? It's not irritation as much as it is confusion.
Right.
And
I understand you.
I'm not confused, which is why you're asking me the question. You're confused, which is why you would ask the question. So why would I get upset
that I'm confused?
Right. Like, you're asking the question.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. That's what I learned.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just having a conversation too. It's more so just explaining like, no, I'm really confused, which is why I'm asking the question. I'm trying to further understand what you're trying to ask. So yeah, having a conversation. All right.
Very good.
Let's get to the questions.
And real quick before we start those questions, I love that picture. Real quick before we start the questions, we're still going through the questions that was submitted. So for our prior video, for the two sisters, the two women that submitted those questions, if we didn't expound on it the way you were necessarily looking for, let us know, and then we'll circle back and do more. Like, you know, just let us know what you were kind of looking for. Not necessarily the answer you were looking for, but more so what you would like us to, like the direction that you would have rather us go in on that question. And from moving forward while we're going through these, just, you know, let us know if you want us to expound better or further into something. Because sometimes, you know, we're talking to y'all, but we're also having a conversation with ourselves, so we could kind of go off on a different tangent and then never circle back to what you actually even asked. So keep that in mind. And you can continue to submit your questions, whether in the comment section in the video or through Instagram. Eventually we'll make like an email that you can submit stuff to. But right now, that's too much. In the comment section, or just hit us up on Instagram. And yeah, all right, let's get to it.
2 questions we got. One is it's not a question all the way, but it is a good conversation to have. It's saying different marriage dynamics when both spouses work, blended families, male and female, etc. We don't really know the dynamics of both spouses, blended or both spouses working.
Nah, that's not true.
What you mean?
I never worked for Caucasians while we was married, but I was throwing my behind off.
Yeah, but also you don't work on their schedule.
Yeah,
So,
I was working on my schedule, but it still interfered. Especially during Sabres Day time.
I didn't see it. I wasn't at home.
Baby. Yeah, let's get to it because you're gonna start remembering. Go ahead.
Whatever. Yeah, blended families. I mean, not blended families. Dynamics. You just gotta kind of cover down on each other. You know, have that conversation of what you all need. We had a pretty good conversation prior to. You know, she let me know, hey, like I'm gonna be sewing this amount of outfits for Sabres Day, so you know I'm going to.
For those who don't know what Sabres Day is, it's a Muslim convention every February.
So we had an event coming up, so she's gonna be working on those outfits quite pretty much a majority of the day. So I was like, okay, as long as dinner's made, you know, I'm cool, you know.
But let's get into
spend
that.
less time.
Dinner was not being made.
Dinner was not being made.
I think that's where the
sometimes.
conversation is. It's like you can have the conversation of both spouses working, and you know we're gonna have a nice conversation about when we both work, but then you start working.
Yeah,
and then
you
stuff
gotta,
is different.
You gotta be I'm a very patient.
Yeah,
I would say I do have a lot of patience. And as long as I understand the situation, like I'm not pressed on it. I'm like, okay, well let's just figure out a different way how we can maneuver. So we was eating out a lot.
A lot. we was spending that bread.
Okay, well let's, you can't make dinner. Well, let's just save the time that way. Because it did work out in the long run because we were able to sit down and eat. So she didn't have to worry about making dinner. Spend more time making the outfit, sewing. And I would just order the food and we could actually just sit down and enjoy the meal. She could take a little break for an hour. And then she can get back to making the outfits. So it did work better in that way. So it's really just about having that conversation and seeing, what best fits each other's needs, and whichever fits better as far as benefiting the marriage. So yeah, do we want to eat out? No.
Do we want to spend his bread?
Do we want to spend his bread? No. Do we want to spend the time together though? Because she would have had to make the dinner. Then she probably wouldn't have had as much time to eat with me,
right?
Because
I would have been rushing.
Yeah, she would have been rushing. Yeah, and I'm just getting home. For one, I'm just getting home. She may have been trying to rush to get the food ready for me when I get off work.
Yeah.
So then we wouldn't have been able to really enjoy each other. So eating out was probably the better option. Just all in all, that way we could enjoy each other.
And same when I was working at the daycare.
Oh yeah.
I was working at daycare and pregnant. I was in my first trimester then, and beloved wasn't getting. I probably cooked. How about pregnancy is work? How about pregnancy is a full-time job?
I didn't even think she was gonna last there. Let's get. I was like, yeah, you ain't gonna last there. I don't even know why you just be a stay-at-home because you ain't even gonna last at that daycare. And she lasted longer than I thought she would.
I lasted a good 2.5 months.
Yeah, she lasted longer.
2.5, 3 months.
I wouldn't even say 2.5.
And I would have stayed.
I would say 2.
No. September. I started in September. And then I started officially, I think, like September 9th. And then I found out I got pregnant September 21st. And it was downhill from there. I was so sick and so tired and sick and tired of everybody and everything. And then November, that was that, like the end of November-ish. No, yeah, the top of November, actually. Something like that. I just didn't go back. And I would have stayed for two different reasons. Like, if two different things were maybe not in play, if I wasn't pregnant, I probably would have stayed. Like, had enough, like, wherewithal to deal. Because the children didn't get on my nerves, and I told my husband this. The children didn't get on my nerves as much as the people, the adults working there. Like, it just didn't feel like it was just really working with, like, adults. There was a lot of catty stuff going on, and, like, stuff that didn't need to be there when you are working with children. So I felt like it should have been more lighthearted, and we working with children. Like, it's not my first time working at a daycare, and on top of that, I love children. So I just wish it would have been a little bit more jovial. And I think if they were more jovial and it was a more jovial setting, then I probably would have stayed even if I was pregnant. Or I think if I wasn't pregnant and even if they were not jovial, I would have stayed.
Yeah.
So, but because all of that was in there, it wasn't working. And then I would come home frustrated and trying to think about cooking. And I'm pregnant, which is a full-time job on top of that. I probably cook all of what? I probably cooked all of a handful of times during the entire pregnancy.
Yeah.
To be honest. Other than that, we was eating out. Oh, gotta get the baby. 1 second. Oh, no, yes, to what you were saying, like having the conversation, but also having a realistic conversation. Of like, okay, so this is the ideal conversation is, so when I come, we're gonna meal prep, because we were talking about meal prepping, we're gonna meal prep all week and blah, 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 blah. And I did that a couple of times. But then the reality conversation is, all right, when we not meal prepping or when I fumble the ball on cooking, are you going to have an attitude if you have to cover down and spend some bread on it and eat out? That's a realistic conversation. Or are you going to have an attitude if you have to go in there and pull out some pots and pans? Hey, so I do the laundry, but are you going to have an attitude if I can't get to the laundry? Are you just going to cover down? You're going to say, here I got to do the laundry again. My husband's really good on just doing the laundry. Number one, I hate doing laundry. So he'd be doing it.
I'm doing it right now.
He doing it right now. Hey, leave me hanging. He be doing it. So, like, sometimes you just got to cover down on stuff. We got a whole newborn child. No, I'm not working, but this is work. And only one of us can breastfeed. Can you just do this laundry? Please? So, yeah. I think that's the conversation. Is like, just be realistic about, what you talk about, the idea of what you would like to do, but also reality is, like, real life is gonna bite you. So you got to have that conversation on just real life stuff. Yeah. And can you not have an attitude? Because I think that's the biggest thing about when both spouses work, is that it wouldn't be a conversation if people weren't struggling to do it. Mm-hmm. And everybody getting an attitude, and he's not doing this and she's not doing this, and and I'm tired, and then we start keeping score. Mm-hmm. Just cover down.
Right. We can expound on that. What do you think is better?
What?
As far as the dynamics. What do you think is better as far as the dynamics of the family? Like, do you think both parents can work, or do you think, one parent? What do you think on that?
I cannot imagine having a job right now outside of this. I can't. I'm barely doing this good. as far as I'm concerned, I feel like I'm getting like, I feel like last week was a C minus. I might be at a C plus. I'm struggling every day with a newborn child. He's fine. Oh, he's happy. He's living his best life. My direction and where my well-being comes in, my husband still has to remind me to eat breakfast and eat dinner and drink water. So adding a 9 to 5 on top of that, I'd die. I'm not a no limit soldier. There are women out there that, hey, more power to you. But I have limits to my soldiering. Very tight limits. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. I couldn't do it. When parenting comes involved, somebody got to fall back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. Anything else on there?
The blended family.
But yeah,
I don't know.
We don't know nothing about no blended family.
I ain't gonna touch on what I don't know. Do your best.
Same thing, I guess. You know, we gotta have that conversation, that realistic conversation. This is what I expect. This is what we can come to an agreement on, and whatever works for you all, because it's different for each family. You know, this works for us, but it may not work for you all.
Right.
Both people may have to work. Maybe y'all in the financial bind and y'all really need 2 incomes at that time. So maybe that's something that you all really need to do. So really just depends on the individual. You know, I just gotta have a conversation, you know, the pros and cons, and weigh it, see what works best for the overall marriage and the whole overall success of the family. So you just gotta weigh it.
I feel led to say this. Whilst you're weighing it, also weigh that when that conversation does come in, automatically start off, don't have it in your mind like, oh, we're weighing it, but I still do expect her to do all this stuff. Also while working, because for our household, both people do need to work. But I also do don't go into the conversation with thinking, how can we maneuver ourselves that you can still do laundry, you can still do all the cooking, you can still do all the cleaning, you can still do all... Go in on the conversation of how do we split up responsibilities.
We already talk about on the sister side.
Yeah, if we already splitting up these household responsibilities, like how these lights stay on and water stay running, then we're gonna have to split up these laundries. We're gonna be splitting up these meals. Gonna be splitting up.
You talking about that both working?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Like, don't go in on it. Having the conversation with leaning on and trying to maneuver how she's still gonna do everything.
That don't even make sense.
It don't make sense.
That literally just means you're working and she's doing everything.
She's working, you're working, and doing everything else.
Take care of the baby. That's
slavery.
That's not gonna work.
That's slavery.
Absolutely not. I can't even imagine her doing that.
Justin couldn't watch it.
I can't.
He couldn't watch it.
Doing stuff like that,
you're asking for an unhappy marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're happy knowing that your wife is not happy, but you're able to chill, like, yeah, but I don't gotta do all that stuff she doing. That's what she made for. But she walking around looking like a dead person. That's raggedy. A happy marriage is where 2 people are both content and experiencing joy. Mm-hmm. That is a happy marriage. So, yeah, I just felt led to say that because I do know a lot of situations where it is like that. Like, yeah, we had the conversation and we just figured out a way for her to do everything still. Mm-hmm. No.
Right. Absolutely. You know, we are, Islam, we're taught that we're of course, the providers, but we're also the maintainers of women. And maintain does just mean, of course, we think provide. Let me make sure she got clothes, things like that. Right. But maintaining also pertains to the mental and spiritual side of it. So if I see my wife struggling, I'm not probably maintaining her because I'm sitting here watching her struggle. Right. So hey, babe, what can I do? Can I help you out with that? You know, do I need to do a load of laundry for you? Do I need to make a meal? Do I need to make sure? Let's just go ahead and eat out. That way you don't have to worry about dinner tonight. You know, that's a part of the maintenance of the wife. So that's something that we have to take into account for. Just make sure we study our wives and make sure that she's good to go on that end.
Yeah. And you got an A+ with that. I can't lie.
I appreciate it.
A+. I'm settled. I'm content on that one.
All right. Let's get to the next question. Respecting and honoring each other's differences as long as they're not morals and values. That's a good one. We're very different people. We're very different people. We don't like
a lot of
the same thing, like a lot of the same music, a lot of the
hate his music.
I'm from the South, so I like trap music.
Boosie.
Trap music, Boosie, Gucci.
And I want to hear the R&B love songs.
I'm more of a trap music. She more the R&B. That's two completely opposite ends of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to come together on certain things. Mm-hmm. There are things. That's what a lot of marriages do. Why they fail is because they focus on the differences. But if you were to focus on the things that you do enjoy together, settle on the best part of the marriage rather than what you don't like. I can guarantee you there are some things that you do enjoy, and if you don't, then hey, that's a different conversation. Right. But I guarantee you, if you spend time with each other and figure out the things that you do enjoy together, there are some things that you do enjoy. Like we enjoy, 90s, 2000s. Music, that's our vibe together. So we know,
I wanna do is see your bounce,
we know we can always go back to that, and that's who we play together. But when we in separate parts, hey, she can play R&B. While she at the house do a little jam session. When I'm in the car, I'm jamming the Boosie.
Yes.
So, we just got to settle on the best part. And there will be differences. I mean, we different, two different people.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have a marriage where you're completely the same, and if it is, that's a boring marriage.
Right.
I mean, you can't be two. There's no two people that are completely alike. You're not gonna find that.
Temperament.
Not in temperament and all your likes and dislikes. That's not gonna happen. So there are gonna be some likes. There's gonna be some dislikes. So yeah, you just gotta focus on the likes.
Can I say your thing again? She said,
as long as it doesn't go
each other's
likes and dislikes, honoring each other's likes and dislikes without,
as long as it doesn't conflict with your morals and values.
Right.
Let me touch on the morals and values piece, because I feel like a lot of the times we think that we're having a morals and values conversation when we talking about things that we like and dislike.
True.
Not us.
You saying in the general community?
Yeah, like the diaspora of human beings. We'll sit there and argue about something. Like we'll be strong-headed, and we've done it in our marriage before plenty of times. Strong-headed about I don't know anything. We'll beef about
morals and values.
No, about something and confusing it as morals and values.
Oh, okay.
But we'll sit there and have the conversation for a long, long time. Circle back to it. 3 days later, we gonna circle back to it again, and it's like, this actually is not a morals and values conversation. It just annoys me that you don't like this. But when it really boils down to it, this is not a reason for us to like be going toe to toe. Who cares that? Let me think. Okay, on a very small level, he liked to listen to trap music. Trap music got a whole bunch of cussing in it. R&B music, not so much. Okay? Trap music got a whole bunch of cussing. When I hear it, my ears are offended. Right? But this is not a morals and values conversation as far as I'm concerned. Now, I could go in. How dare you? But how could you listen to this stuff? It's really how could you listen to this stuff because I just don't like listening to it. Outside of the fact that it's cussing, because R&B music ain't like they talking about like decency half of the time either.
Right.
They just might not be cussing, but I'm in love with Mary Jane. Like, what are we talking about? We still talking about half of the same stuff. One person's singing it, one person is not. But we can find ourselves arguing on something that's just a matter of like and dislike and confusing it as morals and values just because I want you to agree with how I live. Not even just agree with it. I want you to submit to it and do it. Or I could just be like, hey, I listen to my music when you're not around. Now no one's offended. No, the conversation's over. Listen to what you listen to, I listen to what I listen to, and then we come together and listen to what we both like. Morals and values, what would you consider as a moral and values conversation?
That's a really, because there are a lot of things, especially right now in this day and time. We know we live in a world that doesn't value morals and values right now, especially when it pertains to relationships. So that's why it's imperative that you keep God at the center of your marriage. That way, you know, you're both striving. And, you know, when you pick up things, you know, you both like, oh, okay, you know, that's something that we need to work on in our own marriage. But if you don't want to add that, and you just listen to what the world got to say, that marriage is gonna fail. I can tell you that for a fact.
Because the world is telling you, first argument, get a divorce.
This world don't know nothing about marriage at this point in time. You know, they still, you know, you can have friends outside the marriage. You can hang out with the opposite sex. You can, you know, go to parties and you know, do all type of stuff. You can like what you want to like on Instagram. It's just pictures. You know, it's just the internet. That ain't gonna make a successful marriage, because at the end of the day, you know, when you have an issue in your mind, most likely you're probably right. What you're thinking is wrong. You're probably right on that. That probably is wrong. You're just going based upon what the world says is wrong or right, and you're saying, you know, the world's saying, the majority of the world saying, you know, that's okay.
But that's all right. But my nature is saying, I do not like this.
Exactly. And majority of the time, your nature is right. It's absolutely right. You know, you're right on the money. You just need to agree with what your nature is saying, and go from there. So, as long as you keep God in the center, you know, your morals and values remain intact, because you can agree.
That wasn't what I asked you.
What you was asking? I'm sorry.
I said, what would you consider morals and values? Because that could be the argument of, well, what are morals and values?
Oh, well, like I'm saying, it's a lot, though. It's a lot of things that will be considered morals and values. You saying just examples?
Yes.
Examples. So, like, what we're saying as far as, you know, having friends outside of marriage, that's a really big one.
That's a big one.
That's a really big one that goes on in the world. You know, people think, oh, you know, I can have friends. Yeah.
You just went out to lunch.
Nah. That's dead. That's dead, bro.
Have lunch in hell, because that's where you're going.
No, do not do that, because for one, you know, when you have friends of the opposite sex, yeah, it may be cool right now, but what about when y'all have issues in the marriage?
And he looking real perfect right now.
You still trying to spend time with that friend. You know, where's the line at?
And your homeboy start, he did what? I would never do that. Your homeboy start looking real good. You start talking to the opposite
sex about your issues in the marriage.
Nigga.
Come on. That's dead. See, that's dead. You know, even when we first started dating, even when our marriage was trash, anybody asked me how my marriage is good. Great. Perfect. I'm going home. We arguing, but I'm not gonna let them know that though.
Absolutely not.
Not gonna let them know that
Absolutely
though. Perfect.
Not.
We great over here. Good. Couldn't be better. So yeah, you gotta do those things, because it protects the marriage.
Yeah,
man. It really protects the marriage when you do that. And you feel more comfortable with each other, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't feel comfortable in their relationships.
Yeah,
which is an issue, because if you don't feel safe in your marriage,
in every aspect, you have to feel safe in every aspect.
You can't really enjoy your marriage. There's no way possible. If you worried about, you know, what they doing with the friend of the opposite sex, and then you got to come home and try to have that kind of, you know, what you guys do? What you guys talk about? Nah, that's different. Who wants to have that conversation? That's dead.
What else? What's another one?
In the general community, let me think.
Morals and values.
You think of one.
I'm thinking your morals and values usually spring from If you're religious, it springs from your religion.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you have in your Bible, that is set from your morals and values. You learn those from there. They're instilled in you from there, whether from your grandparents, your mother, your aunties, your uncles. Those things are instilled in you. Quran, if you're a Muslim.
Wherever you get your wherever you get your course of study from,
exactly.
Wherever you're reading from.
Your morals and values stem from there. So if me and my husband are, and we talk about this all the time, we could argue about a lot of things, but when it comes down to, well, no, the Quran said this, the conversation's over.
Right.
That's where we draw the line.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Everything else outside of that, we can debate on, we can talk about, but when it comes down to what's in these laws, there is no, now what we can have a conversation on, well, how did you perceive that?
Right.
Oh, I didn't perceive it like that. And then, but even perception is not truth. That's just how you perceive the thing. Now we got to go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty, because once we now get to like the nuts and bolts of a thing, like the actual truth, the root of it, there's really no more conversation. Now we could just talk about what we learned. But other than that, ain't no beefing on what's here. We didn't make these words up. This was here before we got here.
Right.
Like who are we to start making up new stuff? So, yeah, there's a whole bunch of values and morals, but that comes from whatever your course of study is. And if you don't have a course of study, I don't know how what that conversation looks like, because
you're really just going based upon what the world got.
That right, and I don't know that. Yes. I don't know how to help you with that, because I don't know what the course of study is outside of savagery for what's going on out here. Right. We in a situation where 50-75% of marriages fail. Like, they don't end in death do us part, they end in death do this love be raggedy. So right, we done. And in reality, like my husband constantly says, like, keeping God at the center, we would find that we would get over and not even get over, but get through. Because you can't get over a daggone thing. You can get through stuff though. Work it out. We would find that we would be able to get through a lot more stuff if we stick to that part. If we prayed through it, we worked through, we used what's in our Bible, in the Quran, in our course of studies, we would find that we'd be able to get through a lot of this stuff. Even if you got to go to counseling, right, like doing something, right, doing something, but just out here leaning on our own raggedy understanding and other people's raggedy understanding, just the blind leading the blind. Hey, right.
Because how you gonna listen to a podcast about marriage and that person not even married, or they've been divorced 3 times?
That part.
Come on. Part. Why I'm gonna listen to you?
What do you have to tell me? What do you have
to tell me? You've been divorced 3 times. So obviously, you doing something. You doing something wrong. Maybe you can tell me what you doing wrong.
Just because somebody's saying something with conviction don't mean they right.
Right, absolutely.
I heard somebody saying, you don't have to brush your teeth, eat watermelon. They was dead serious. We shouldn't be using toothbrushes to brush our teeth. We should be eating fruits and vegetables. And that is going to cleanse our teeth. Right. Don't talk to me. If that's what you believe, absolutely. Hey, but my morals and values say you brush your teeth. You got to brush them.
You got to clean yourself.
You got to get that tongue.
You got to get it out.
Because I don't know a fruit strong enough to get through the crevices of my tongue. I haven't ate that fruit yet, and I don't want to. Fruit is for taste and health. 2 brushes is for that gingivitis and halitosis. Right.
Toothbrush and toothpaste.
And toothpaste. Use it. You have to use it. Both of them simultaneously at the same time. I want a person to have a different perspective is okay. And I think a lot of the way we can honor it, I think this is a good place to kind of end off, is realizing that that we did marry a totally different person. If I wanted to marry myself, I would have stayed single. I married someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I was searching. Really, we think we're searching for just love. No, you're searching for, or we should be searching for, yes, somebody that is equally yoked, but that can give us another, as a compliment, give us another perspective. My husband gives me another perspective all the time, and I give my husband a different perspective all the time. Mm-hmm. I have to listen to his perspective and want to listen to his perspective. That is how you honor another person's like him as a human being. I feel like that's a part of me honoring him. How do I honor somebody's perspective as long as it not conflict with their morals and values? I could listen to you, and then when it's like, yeah, I didn't necessarily grow up like that, or I didn't necessarily see things like that, but I can see how you see it like that, and I could submit to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad at that. Let's try that. And if it don't work, then we can always circle back to the original or my plan. Okay, let's try it your way now. But if I wanted to just marry somebody that thought exactly like me, did everything exactly like me, I should have just stayed single and been with exactly myself.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what I wanted to do. But we think we go into marriage wanting somebody else, but then we go into marriage really wanting them to be us. And then I feel like that's a huge downfall.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we don't get to honor each other's differences, which is actually
expecting the individual to be a certain way in your mind.
Yes. And this idea we made up.
Right. Because it really just be the idea. Oh, yes. No. And when they conflict with whatever you had in your mind, and that's where you had an issue with, like, oh no, you're not doing this. Act.
But when did I ever act like that? Right. In my mind, you was acting like that.
Exactly.
That's how we got married.
Exactly.
Oh, so, hey, Fussy.
So, yeah, just keep it in mind, that perspective. I would say that's the best part of the marriage is, seeing, especially from the male and the female aspect of it, we have totally different ways of getting to the same conclusion.
Yes.
So not to say that she's wrong or I'm wrong or she's right and I'm right. It's just, we may have two totally different ways of getting there. Hey, I want to do it this way.
Yeah.
And she want to do it this way. It don't mean that we both wrong.
Right.
We just have different ways of getting to where we want to get to. So just understanding that, we have different perspectives. And sometimes, like she said, I'm listening to her. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using that. Or she may hear something I say, you know what? That's a good idea. Mm-hmm. She may use that. So just learning from each other.
Or even on the flip side, what if somebody says, I think that's a raggedy idea. I think going back to just assuming positive intent.
Yeah.
That this person is not attacking you unless they suck. But most people don't suck that much. If I say to my husband, if he says an idea and I'm like, I usually would say, I don't think that's a wise idea. I don't think that's a good idea. Having enough sense to talk about it.
That? I don't know. maybe not.
Having enough sense to talk about it, like why you don't think that's a good idea? Because everybody ain't gonna think your idea good.
Maybe your idea is trash. I'm not the smartest man on the world,
and I'm not the smartest woman on the planet. You know your idea might be trash.
Sometimes it takes me. I wasn't the best student, so it may take me a little extra work.
I got C's at my best
to get to places.
Honestly,
so sometimes my ideas ain't the greatest. Sometimes my ideas be top of the line. But sometimes they be like
bottom of the line.
They be like, hey, bro, that.
I don't think we should do that.
It's not making sense, bro.
Have enough sense to be like.
You gotta humble yourself and be like. Yeah, perspectives.
All right, so we could close it out. So we said we was gonna do something for the baby. What's something new? Because we have a newborn baby. He's 5 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
Pushing up on 6 weeks, maybe something like that.
Only 5 weeks today.
5 weeks today?
Yeah.
5 weeks today. Happy 5 weeks, thank. And every single day he's doing something new, especially in this age. He's constantly growing. Like, he's very, very brand new. So I thought it would be a good idea to start off with marriage. My husband had the idea of starting off, well, like, what we learned this week that would benefit the marriage. And I had the idea, well, let's end off with what we learned from this
benefit
baby.
the marriage of the family.
Yeah, benefit the marriage of the family. And let's end off with something that, something about this baby, because he's constantly evolving and teaching us how to actually be better married people to one another. And we only really have family now because he's here. So, yeah. What did you learn from the baby this week? Or what did something that he did new, cute, whatever?
You got something? Something to think on.
Something not really about his evolution as much as my evolution with him is when I first got pregnant, I was so looking forward to breastfeeding. Like, I just wanted so bad to just like feed him. And then when I delivered, I was so happy that he latched. And then, ouch. This is so funny while I'm talking about breastfeeding right now, because I can feel my milk coming in as we speaking. And this is kind of going into what I'm saying. Like, the reason why I said, ouch, the milk is coming in, because I didn't experience what I thought maybe I was going to experience when it came to this feeding a person from our body life. I didn't consider the amount of pumping that you have to do. I didn't consider, like, yeah, we do it every 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, but how short that is when you have a newborn. Like, every 2 to 3 hours feels extremely short. Mm-hmm. When you have a newborn, it's like, it feels like you're doing it every 30 minutes. And I'm not capping, hour max. But I have yet to feel like I have fed him every 2 to 3 hours. It feels like I'm feeding him every hour on the hour. So for like those first couple of weeks, I was like, this is miserable. This actually sucks. And I ain't gonna cap. I was fantasizing about formula. Like, there has to be another way. This is absolutely ridiculous. I can't continue to live like this. And then this past week, I've been trying to shift my perspective. Like, we started off and my husband was talking about when he got poop attacked on, and having to shift his perspective, even the way he looked at him. Like, you're not doing this on purpose. This is just you living your life, and I am here to steward and facilitate a decent place for you to live. So I had to clean it up. I had to soothe you when you're crying. Like, these are just things that when God gave you to me and gave me to you, this is my end of the deal. He pooping on me right now. But so I had to shift my perspective this week to allow myself to enjoy feeding him more. And I shifted it into, he's never going to be this small ever again. Like, he's constantly growing. Every day we see it, he's constantly growing. And there's going to be a day where I don't breastfeed him ever again. And I don't get the chance to literally allow him to grow. The only reason that he's growing is because I feed him. If I were to stop feeding him and we weren't considering formula and all this stuff, he would cease to exist. And it's like, you're alive because mommy. So let me enjoy this more because I so badly want you to be alive. I prayed for you. So we planned for you. Like, this, you're not an oopsie baby, so let me stop, like let me fixate my mind differently on it. So even when I wake up like 3 o'clock in the morning to have to feed him, I try to have a better mindset. Not like, oh, here you go eating again. Like, no, he's hungry again because that's how God made him. He made him to be hungry every 2 to 3 hours. So, yeah, that's something that I have, that Jossie has taught me in his growth and development.
That's a good one. For me, I would say being more nurturing. I've definitely learned how to be more nurturing. Prior to this, I ain't really deal with no babies like that, especially if babies not this small. So my wife, I'm like, yo, like, I don't deal with no newborns. They gotta be about that big. You gotta be about that big for me to hold you. Like, you gotta have some weight, some girth.
You gotta pick up your head
for me to. You gotta be able to move what you need to move for me to pick you up. So with him, he on head bobbling. He still be shaking and doing all type of stuff. That's something that I had to get used to, and to, be gentle with him, and try to rub his head when he's crying. That's something I'm learning more and tapping into more of the feminine side. The mother side is trying to nurture him and be gentle with him and be patient with him.
Because you was burping him like you was trying to kill him them first couple of days.
I wasn't. I was just trying to get it out.
I have never seen anybody burp somebody this fast. I've never seen it. This is the tempo. That's the tempo right there.
Trying to get it out, man. Trying to get it out. But yeah, so that's what I learned, and that's what I'm learning. This is definitely something that I'm growing into, that side. That side. So.
Very good. And he's getting cuter and cuter by the day. Oh, he honestly, he make it easy for you to want to do better for him, cause he get cuter and cuter by the day. Hey, you opening your eyes? He said, I hear you talking about me. Yeah, I'm so cute. Okay, so that's all. Thank you for joining our Not Podcast. One day it will be a podcast and it'll be on all the things. But I just don't feel like doing that right now. I'm gonna be honest. I don't feel like figuring all that out. Absolutely. Spotify for music, and I just don't feel like figuring it out. So right now we are YouTube based, and we'll eventually be more than YouTube based. And yes, make sure you tune back into Elevators and Stairs.
Episode 3. Next week.
So are we going to post every Friday?
Post every Friday.
That's what you
post by Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, post by Friday. Yeah.
Is it? But we need a day, not by Friday. We need a day.
By Friday.
That is not how it works. People need a schedule. Then? Here's the thing. Today's Monday, so right now the best days that we have to do them is on Mondays. Is on Sundays or Mondays. I can upload them in a day.
Yeah, like I said, right now the schedule may change, so I don't want to put a specific day right now. And my schedule may change.
But if you say we're going to post it by Friday, that just literally means we're going to post it at some time this week.
Yeah, just be on the lookout. This week, it's going to be here. Next week, it's going to be here as well before Friday. So just be on the lookout right now. My schedules may change.
Hey, that's what
I may not be
as a not podcast, that's where it's at right now.
Exactly. I may not be able to do it on Monday, so I may have to do it a different day. We may have to adjust. So right now, it's just not a definitive day.
It's just a day out the week.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
And we can say we gonna do that. We can do that.
I can do that.
We got 5 days to get it done. We can do it.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah.
Sounds good. Make sure you follow us on our platforms. There, you see them. I'm just gonna put them on the screen, and make sure you follow us on there. Pretty much just Instagram. I'm not on TikTok really. I'll try my best. My husband's not on TikTok.
I'm on Instagram.
He's on Instagram. And yes. Until next time, friends.
You got the head on.
Oh. Bye.